Welcome to Massive Beers. My name is Matt, and we are here to do beer stuff. In particular, we're going to do a beer review, and more specifically, we're going to do a mystery beer, courtesy of my boy Steven. He sent off a box of beer, had a couple beers in it, and a little mystery jammer up in this piece, because who doesn't love a little mystery? It's been a while since I've done some mystery beers. Well, it's kind of a lie. I've done two recently, but prior to that, it's been probably a couple months since I've done one. One was fairly easy to kind of peg down. The other one I didn't do too well on, so confidence is shaken, but not stirred. We'll see what's what. So the sun's getting mighty low. We want some beers. I'm about to kind of just dot some I's and cross some T's on a little bit of drywall so I can start mudding. And so I start painting so I can start living in this thing. I'm not living in here, but start existing in here with electricity and all kinds of stuff. So anyway, we'll see what's what. What does that beer look like? Could be a couple different things. Could be an IPA, old school IPA. Could be a Kolsch. Could be a Belgian Trip. We'll see what's what. Awesome postal service kind of wrapping on it. Yeah, it has this golden hue, unfiltered kind of look to it. It'd be a bunch of different things. Coming in a 12-ounce can, could be a plethora of things. Let's get a nose. It's a citrusy forward kind of beer. I can't really peg it. Knee jerk. I'd go somewhere citrus-based kind of pale to even maybe a citrus forward kind of Kolsch or even a blonde ale, something along those lines. There definitely is a citrus kind of presence to it. But outside of that, it's relatively nondescript, at least on the nose. It's citrus forward, so obviously you're dealing either with a citrus addition or a citrus forward hopping. On the nose, I'm kind of leaning towards some kind of citrus addition in it, but it smells relatively light. It smells like it's going to come off a little bit of heft to the body, so I'm thinking low ABV, but not necessarily a super crisp, clean kind of beer. Something in the 5% range, maybe touching 6 of a citrus added kind of. I just really want to kind of lean into kind of a blonde ale on this one. We'll see what actually happens on the actual taste, but it's definitely bursting with a ton of citrus. So let's just dive in. Cheers, y'all. Why am I humming? I'm not really talking about the beer because I'm trying to decide whether this is a non-alcoholic beer or not. I'm pretty sure there's alcohol in this, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a really well-made non-alcoholic beer. But I think what we're dealing with here is kind of like a citrus, a hoppy. Yeah, I think most of that citrus is hop based, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was an added kind of lemon peel or orange rind to this. Kind of like hoppy. Again, I want to go kind of blonde ale. Like a hoppy blonde ale coming in at 5.2%. I'm getting New England Brewing Company vibes off of this. I think that's all I'm going to get out of this one. Yeah, 5.2% hoppy blonde ale, which could be somebody's version of a hoppy pale ale. Yeah, nothing crazy. 5.2% hoppy blonde from I'm gonna call it. Let's call this a Nebco beer. Anyway, let's see what we have shooting in here. It just has an old school sensibility to it. That's why I say Nebco. Okay, what do we have here? Fat Orange Cat. We have dry hopped wheat. Really? Okay, dry hopped wheat ale. 4.9. So it said 5.2. I was 0.3% off. Hoppy wheat ale. This is tasty. I really don't get a wheat beer off of this, to be perfectly honest with you. There's not a big wheat characteristic. I get that kind of citrusy thing. A lot of people get orange on their wheat beers, but this is more of, like I said, a hop edition kind of orange. Cool can art. That Orange Cat does a cool can art. It says Billy's Orange Daisy. 4.9%. Brewed with Fat Orange Cat, North Haven, Connecticut. So I think it's a 12% brewed beer. I don't think we get a date on it. That's pretty much it. I'm okay with everything I said. I'd be really, really, really surprised if this beer was 100% wheat based. If it was a very, very nondescript kind of wheat malt bill to it. I mean, it just came off a little bit kind of neutral grainy to me, as opposed to kind of wheat, because wheat is usually something that I think I have a fair kind of peg on when it comes to picking it up. Yeah, it's really tasty though. You're talking about 4.9%. You give me these in a 6-pack for $13. I think I'm a pretty happy camper with this, all things considered. And it's just a tasty beer. It's a chugger. It's a ripper, and that's what it wants to be, and that's what it is, and it does it in a really tasty way. Thank you very much, Stephen. This is a very fun one to do, and I don't think I butchered it all that much. I think I was in the ballpark, so it's always nice. Is it one of the better hoppy wheat ales I've had? Actually, if it in that compartmentalizing it in that, yeah, it's Mount Rushmore status, but it doesn't. It's not really a wheat beer for me, at least in how it drinks and how it tastes. If I were to kind of open up that and be like, it's one of the better hoppy low ABV offerings I've had, we're talking sub 5%. Yes, is it Mount Rushmore status? Worthy, up close, eking towards that. Very tasty stuff nonetheless. And Fat Orange Cat, man, we get a decent amount of their stuff distroed by me, but I don't know why their price points are weird. Sometimes they're cheap, sometimes they're not, and I don't know if they date their cans, so a lot of times I won't pick them up because I just don't want to go through the rigmarole of trying to hunt down some kind of way to kind of figure out if the cans are old or not, because they do produce a lot of these kind of delicate kind of hazies that can kind of be beat up by time and temperature. But I should pick up more by them because I really do dig what they do. And let's talk about your experience. Have you had this particular beer, this particular batch, even though we can't really nail down the batch on this, can we? There's no dating, no nothing. Stephen, when did you buy this? What did you think of it, Stephen? What did anybody else think of this? And what do you think of Fat Orange Cat in general? Have you had their beers? Have you had a ton of experience with their beers? Anyway, down there, let's talk about it. There you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed a little mystery beer. We love to do them. Hope to see you next time. Cheers, y'all.